We go to Seattle,
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
where a part of it that was taken over by thugs in 2020 during the Summer of Love to pay respect to the one St. George Kirby was finally torn down 3 years later.
What?
Then again, it is Seattle after all.
So much bullshit.
I'm Chaz Berganza on this.
Bye, Felicia.
So what's next? What's up, guys? Hey, TGIF. Happy Friday, guys. Chaz Berganza, what's next? Your daily dose. Of course, we are going into the final weekend of 2023. Let me pick your brain for a second. Let's take a trip in the way back. Let's go way, way, way back to 2020. Remember that? You know, you had some lovely things happen that year. You've had, of course, the COOF, you know, the Chinese virus. You had the wonderful Summer of Love. And then, of course, you had the shenanigans in the 2020 election. So you had the three-headed hydra that happened that year. And, of course, who got fucked? You and me. We, American people, we got fucked. But we're going to concentrate on one. And that is the Summer of Love 2020. And how did that occur? You know, you had wonderful things happening. You know, you had people singing, holding hands, singing Kumbaya. Everybody was united as one. Yes, fight for the cause. All due to the mysterious death of this person who's now become a vaunted saint. Everyone bow your heads. That is one George Kirby. So, there was a piece of land. We're going to go to the West Coast. Washington State, you know, a lovely state, you know, that is run by knucklehead liberals. And of course, Seattle, its capital. Well, it's not the capital of Seattle. It's not the capital of Washington, but you must just say it is. And of course, that is a lovely city as well, run by knucklehead liberals as well. During the Summer of Love, you had a piece of Seattle that was taken over by clowns and thugs. And they called it Chop or Chaz. You know, name the one. You'd have called it. And then it got taken over. You kept the cops out. You literally had the people who lived in that little 4 to 6 block section held hostage. Couldn't get in. Couldn't get out. You know, couldn't shop. Couldn't do shit. So now we fast forward 3 years later. And something has happened. Wonderfully, but something has happened. It got torn down. Finally, and here we go. This comes out of Breitbart. Chaz gets chopped. Seattle's Black Lives Matter garden removed became a hotspot for crime. Unsafe conditions per authorities. Unsafe conditions. Sure, why not? A garden planted in 2020 in honor of Black Lives Matter riots in 2020 inside the so-called Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, Chaz, formerly the Capitol Hill Occupied Protest, CHOP, has been removed by Seattle authorities. The Chaz, or CHOP, formed within a 6-block area of Seattle during the 2020 riots, you know, the lovely Summer of Love, were successfully enforcing police to abandon their eastern precinct. For several weeks, anarchy ensued until murders in the zone and pressured from former President Donald Trump prompted its removal. As Barbara News, a Penny Star reported at the time, the occupied area includes a park, which also is being taken over by the people inside the zone. And Seattle Times penned a feature about the guerrilla gardening as part of the new communal effort. Activists took over the part of the Cal Anderson Park where circles have been mowed in the grass and encouraged social distancing and turned into circles of gardens. Wow, they had enough respect to social distance themselves, but you had thugs wreck the place. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The Times noted that the activists described the garden as a form of, quote, reparations for racisms. Yes. No. However, the Times reported that the city had had enough and the garden attracted crime and became a public nuisance. Quote, the city cited unsafe conditions in and around the Black Lives Matter Memorial Garden, including vandalism of park restrooms, drug use, and camping. Shocker. released statements from several black leaders supporting this approach. The city also vowed to conceptualize a new garden elsewhere in the park. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Black Star Farmers, the group that stewarded the garden, announced a removal in a statement, saying that people who use the space mourning the destruction of the physical embodiment of years of collaboration, connecting with plant life and sharing knowledge, food, and medicine. In recent months, the temporary garden had created unsafe conditions for all park users, including the vandalism of Cal Anderson public bathrooms, public drug use, unauthorized camping, significant rodent problem, along with other issues. So it's just another day in Seattle. Seattle saw a political backlash in the wake of the 2020 Summer of Love, with Police Chief Carmen Best, the first black woman to hold the post, retiring, and a Republican elected as city attorney following the year. An extremely rare event in a deeply, deeply liberal, brain-dead city. It took almost 3.5 years for this shit to happen. Like I said before, it's Seattle, so no one should be surprised. The state is worthless, run by a worthless governor, who, if I'm remembering correctly, got rid of, reading, writing, arithmetic, because of course it would hurt people of color. So we had to get rid of that because of course, whitey. Anyway, this is the stupidity and nonsense that you have going on in West Coast cities and states. Well, East Coast as well, example, New York. But when you had shit like this happen, when you allowed a bunch of thugs to take over a 4 to 6 block area of Seattle and call it their own, basically holding people hostage, and you had the mayor of Seattle, the government of Washington, the governor, do nothing except sit on their asses with their thumbs up their ass, firmly up their ass, and go, well, we just can't do anything because that may be seen as racist. We can't, just because, these are Black Lives Matter thugs and Antifa motherfuckers. That would be racist, and we don't want to be seen as bigots. Until Trump said enough was enough. But it took weeks of this bullshit for Washington to step in. Not to say that shit like this in Seattle could ever happen again, because nobody would have thought in a million years that would have happened the first time. But then again, history doesn't just repeat itself. To quote one Steve Dace, it also rhymes. And with that being said, I'm Chaz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave comments below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue to spread the word if you can about this channel. Make it grow. We'll catch you next time. Peace.